Hello, long time no see. It is the 23rd of December and I'll tell you now, a lot of plans for December. I had a lot of plans for the last 2 months and I just got extremely burnt out, and I've been working a lot and kind of overworking, if I can say that. And we had a trip to Hamburg and Berlin that I did not record or anything. I was also working in our free time when we were up there, and I cut my hair spontaneously, very spur of the moment. And yeah, it's just been a couple of months, but we are currently in Sweden. We are house sitting for someone. I don't know if you can see it there. It's a very lovely cat. We are house sitting a cat named Merlin, and we're here for 2 weeks and then we're going to Finland. And so I thought I'm going to take this 2 weeks as a bit of a reset. I'm going to work a little bit in the downtime, but I'm also just going to try and learn how to relax and learn how to take a break and try and recover, because I'm in the final year of my PhD. There's a lot that could happen between now and the end of 2026, depending on when I hand in, if I get a job. There are so many different things that could change, and it's feeling very unstable. And I think that has contributed to my panic, burnout, high stress, high anxiety, not coping with life kind of situation that I've been in for the last month. And I really want to go into next year feeling refreshed and reset and with good expectations for the year, but expectations in the sense of I want to prioritize myself and my health over the panic and stress of what life wants to throw at us, because I feel like a lot of stuff has been thrown at us over the last little while. Bureaucracy wise, living in Germany, there's just been a lot. And so yeah, we're just going to take this time to reset, and I thought I'm going to film what I can. I don't know how many videos this is going to turn into. I don't know if it's going to be like a daily thing or like I don't know, we'll see. But we're here for Christmas and New Year's, and we're just going to take it as it comes and yeah, try and reset from where we have been. So yeah, welcome to Sweden. We are about to head out soon to the Christmas markets. There's one Christmas market in the very city centre, in the old centre. I think it's called Gamla Stan, which I'm saying with a very German accent. But that closes today. Today's the last day. So we're going to go there and check it out. And I haven't even looked at if they only take cash, in which case need to take cash out somewhere. And yeah, let's just go and have a lovely day. And then I think tomorrow is just going to be a chill one. We need to go to the supermarket at some point, so that'll probably happen tomorrow if it doesn't happen on the way home today. And yeah, hello, welcome to the video. Also, it snowed overnight very, very lightly. It now looks super icy, but when we woke up, it was lots of snow. It is really pretty. It's not supposed to snow too much while we're here, which is unfortunate, but we're gonna take what we can. And we're hoping between here and Helsinki, between like our visits to 2 of the cities, that we'll see some sort of snow. We're also gonna make a few trips. Wow, that was German. We're also gonna take a few trips to like Uppsala and maybe another castle not too far away from here. I think it's supposed to be one of the oldest castles in Sweden. I'm not too sure, but we're gonna have a look at our different options and plan out a nice trip around here and hopefully see some snow while we're at it. If I could have asked for anything in a trip at this point, our trip to Sweden was exactly what I needed. I'm someone who flips between working like 100% and giving everything and working insanely long hours every single day, and then completely crashing to the point where I struggled to get out of bed. And I know that a lot of this stems from insecurity and feeling like I was selfish to uproot my life and move overseas, and so I need to give it my all, otherwise it was just a waste of time. There's a lot to unpack there, and I think that's what I started doing in Sweden. I completely stepped away from my life and realized that the only person these expectations are affecting is me. Say hello. Glühwein, but not Glühwein, look. So the first few days we really didn't do much. We explored, we stayed at home when we needed to, we watched movies. It was just like a complete reset. We stepped back and just, I don't know, kind of existed. It's something I'm not very good at doing, if I'm honest, but it was something that I learned that I needed to do. I read. Like, how often do I actually just stop and read a book and not feel guilty about it? And yeah, it was exactly what I needed to restart this year. The ducks are coming to say hello. We have no food for you, my friends. Oh, you're very cute. No, don't scare them. Very beautiful. Are you the duck whisperer? We have no offerings. I don't know if you can see this, but Luke was just saying that this here is ice. And it's reflecting the sunset. I said at the start of this video that I was going to work while in Sweden, and honestly I had this big plan to write an article that I had in the back of my mind for quite some time, and when we got to Sweden I realized how burnt out I was, and I just had to let go of that plan and only do the items that needed to be done. So I did a few emails here, I did a few emails there. I actually wrote my first postdoc application, which I will be talking about at a later time, but I just had to step back. Good morning, morning. Good morning, morning. I do feel like every single video I've taken so far, which is not many, has been of this lake here. But it is really pretty. It is the day after Christmas. We have not filmed anything. I was gonna film yesterday, but we didn't really end up doing anything, so I didn't. So instead, I am filming today. This is the lake by where we are. We're going to the Vasa Museum today. We're about to head there now. And it's actually not so cold today, so I'm not wearing gloves or anything. But yes, let's go to the Vasa Museum, have a look around, see an old boat. Yes. This was actually the first big planned thing that we did while we were in Sweden. I had a bunch of things saved on Google Maps, but I didn't get round to as many as I thought I would because of how much we just took time out to stay at home and not pressure ourselves to do anything. But this was one thing that I was told was a must-do, and it is the Wasser Museum. I know I'm not pronouncing that right because I just want to say the German Wasser, like water, but this is the Wasser Museum with the oldest boat that is still preserved simply because it failed as a boat and sunk not long after it left the harbour. But funny fact, when Luke was walking through here, he said that he recognised the boat from something and he wasn't entirely sure where, but it just gave him Pirates of the Caribbean vibes. And we actually found out that this boat inspired the Black Pearl in the Pirates of the Caribbean. So I might not know much about the history of this boat, but I do remember that fun fact there. And then when we got out of the Wasser Museum, it was sunset time. And granted, I will tell you this is like 2 p.m, but this time was my favorite time the whole time we were in Sweden. We just seemed to always leave around sunrise or sunset, probably because it was like 10 a.m. or 2 p.m, somewhere around there, but it was just beautiful. And I know Sweden's not always like this, and that maybe this is like a tainted view of Stockholm, that I'm just always going to think of it as sunset time, but it really was just the most beautiful thing to experience, and I think this is what made it such a good trip. The following day we went to Uppsala, and this was a place that was also highly recommended to me because of the university. It's a little bit like a Tübingen from what I had learned, and it definitely felt like that, but less of a student-only town. I think Tübingen feels a bit like a bubble if you're a student in it, and I know I wasn't a student in Uppsala, but walking around it felt like there was more than just students there. And so we went there, we looked a little bit at the university, but the first thing that we did was go to the old Uppsala, which is Gamla Uppsala, I think is what it was called. And that's where they have some of the original mounds that you can go and visit. We learned a little bit about the history of the area. We saw some of the carvings and runes on stones. It was just, I don't know, it's like you have this image of Scandinavia in your head from watching movies and reading books and Scandinavian propaganda and all that. And we were walking around and it felt like this here in Uppsala was exactly what I had imagined. It probably helps that we went to a museum and saw a bunch of Viking stuff as well, but it was just like this here. This is what I was expecting out of Stockholm. And so yeah, we just walked around, we took it in. It was actually a very chill day. It took like an hour to get up there, and we did a walking tour, which was tragically weird. It was kind of good because it had really good recommendations, but then it sounded like the recording was AI, but not AI in a good way. Like, I'm pro AI in certain circumstances, but this was not a pro AI moment. It was just short and weirdly phrased, and I don't know, I wouldn't recommend it. But what I would recommend is going to see the university things there. We went to the Gustavianum, which I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, I'm probably not, but it had a bunch of the old artifacts, a bunch of old Nobel Prize discoveries. I don't know, the things that the guys created. Wow, you can really tell I'm a scientist here. But they had, for example, Celsius's thermometer when it was the other way around, because they hadn't yet decided on what we now know as Celsius temperature. It was flipped around the other way. That's something I learned. And then if you know anything about my history, you know that I did medical history, and I recently wrote and published a medical history book. And in the Gustavianum, they have the old medical theatre where they did the operations, which I'm sure was not ethical at the time, but it was very cool to see it because I've seen this image so much in the photos given to us by the woman who attended the medical school in New Zealand, and it looked so similar. So yeah, this was a really cool trip, and if you're in the area, I'd 100% recommend it. I know I'm an academic and I like that kind of stuff, but even if you're not an academic, I think that Uppsala has so much to offer that you can learn about that's relevant to your day-to-day life, such as the Nobel Prize stuff, the Celsius stuff, the person who created the classifications for the flora and fauna and all that, and they had all the pictures that he made to show the different types of flora and fauna. So yeah, it was very cool, and I would definitely recommend it. This was kind of the touristy side of the trip. It is snowing, but I don't know if you can see it. It's like super, super light snow. Oh, so pretty. The following day, we took ferries, which is included in the public transport around the archipelago. I will say, if you're looking at doing this based on TikTok or based on like those travel guides of different things that you can do in Sweden, I would not recommend this. It was pretty and it was really nice to see the archipelago, but the public transport ferries are public transport because they are moving people between where people live, not necessarily the scenic parts of the archipelago where you could go hiking or bird watching or any of those things. And this was, I think, the biggest letdown of all of the things I had hoped to do. We are in the middle of I don't know where, and it's snowing, like actually snowing. It's so pretty. And I'm not going to lie, it was really pretty. It was really nice to see the sunset from the boat and be out on the water, and it actually started snowing for the first time during the day. We ended up making a pit stop at one of the locations because we just needed to get lunch, and that ended up being super picturesque. We found Neptune's trident.
It could sound nice, but have you been to Sweden?
But all in all, I do feel like we got a teeny tiny bit catfished with all of the recommendations to just do it on the public transport ferries because it's so much cheaper than going on one of those archipelago boat tours. If this is something you really want to do, I would just say go for the archipelago boat tour. It's going to be so much more worth it than what people market this as. On a boat. Anyway, this is the last thing I'm going to show in this video because it's getting kind of long. I will be back with the second part of our Sweden trip and the very small amount of Helsinki, but I just want to say thank you for being here, thank you for listening to me talk, and it gets better. I've got so much more exciting stuff to show you. I'll see you again very soon.